They're not going to be offended if you say that you hate this crappy place. Hello everyone, it's Daniela. Welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new. I am so happy that you're here. We are going to be talking about how to find your apartment, what to know, all the tips and tricks that nobody told me, so I'm going to tell you so that you're not clueless like I was when I was applying. Before I get into this video, I just want to point out I do have a few videos on the topic of moving that are out. I'm not really sure what order they're going to be coming out in. I know I have a packing with me on my channel on how to pack for your apartment and for your big move. I have my empty apartment tour video. I also have me moving into my apartment showing you how I did that and everything. So if you want to check those out too to kind of see how that process goes, I will link them up here and down below. Number one, how to search for the apartment. Where do you even start? First, you need to know where are you looking, what city are you looking at, what state, what town. Just narrow that down. Once you have that narrowed down, I recommend either looking up realtors in the area or asking your friends and family if they recommend anyone, because searching apartments.com and going through there is not the way to go. That's what my roommate and I did, and it really messed us up. The reason for that is apartments.com just lists random apartments and you're not guaranteed to find those. Some can be fake and we want actual apartments that we can actually live in. So if you search through apartments.com and apply that way, you're not guaranteed the same realtor to have the same place that you're looking at. So just search for real estate agencies around the area, see if they're reputable, see their reviews. That is super important because you want a really good real estate agent. I also recommend going through the agent just because they make it so much easier, and a lot of landlords will pay the broker fee, so just keep in mind it makes it way less stressful, and I literally love my agent. So now that we're talking about the real estate agent, most important thing, you really need to get to know them really well. I recommend before you even go looking at places with them to set up a phone call with them and talk to them about what you like, what you dislike, what you're looking for in the apartment, what's your price range, what type of area you want to be in, how far of a commute you want from your work, etc. You really want to get to know this person because they are going to be handling all those components for you. They're going to be the ones negotiating the price with the landlord, so you really want them knowing you and what you want, and maybe you'll become friends with them like I did, which is great. And also, don't be scared to tell the real estate agent things that you don't like, because again, they represent you and they don't own these places that you're seeing. They just help you go tour them, so they're not going to be offended if you say that you hate this crappy place. The lighting right now is good. Wait. Finding the area and location that you want the apartment. The best way that I found to look is by first seeing what you need to be near. So for example, I made sure that I'm near public transportation because I am in the city. I need to commute into work, so I said my max commute time was going to be 30 minutes. So I did a 30-minute radius around the area that I need to be in, and I looked in those areas. You also need to consider the price range within those areas. Different areas can be more expensive depending on what's there. If you're looking in the city, the closer you get to the heart of the city, the more expensive, prices going up. Try to consider how far away you want to be from things, and then do a radius from the center point. If you're living with roommates, you also need to take into account where they need to be, and if they don't care, well then lucky you get to choose. If you're living with roommates, you also need to take into account their situation, so negotiate with them how far away they're willing to be and then try to get the midway point of that. What I recommend is taking out a map and circle again that radius and then see where there's an overlap and then choose to look in that area instead. Another thing to consider when you're looking is also how far away you want to be from grocery stores, pharmacies, shops, restaurants, etc. Usually areas will have that, but if you don't have a car, you need to consider that you're going to be walking to a lot of places, or you're going to need to take public transportation to get to those places. So just keep all that in mind. Ultimately, at the end of the day, you can also just focus more on the radius of the area that you need to be in, and then take into account the grocery store, shopping areas once you've looked, because you can explore, which leads to my next point, seeing the places in person. Number one, make sure you bring someone that is not living with you, meaning a third party that has no bias towards anything and is just there for moral support to help you check out the place and to make sure that everything is good. And here's why. You are going to be so focused on making sure that you like the place, that the utilities are all up to date the way you want them, and you're going to miss stuff. You need a third set of eyes, a fresh set of eyes, to scope out the area with you and to make sure that things actually work, that things actually look nice, that they ask questions that you forget to ask. So make sure that you have someone come with you. Number two, take pictures, take videos. You want to make sure you get all the evidence of things that are in good shape, things that are broken, things that are scratched, things that need repairs. You want to take that all into account, because before you move in, you want to make sure that you write that all down on your lease so that the landlord fixes it. And if he's not going to fix it, that he knows that it's broken before you get there, because you don't want to pay for that. So this does not work. Oh, it does work. Super important to get video and picture evidence of things that are broken, damaged, whatever. Number 3, make sure you have a list of questions to ask the real estate agent about the apartments that you're looking at before you go. What I did was I wrote the list of questions on my phone, and then each place I went to, I copied the list of questions, pasted it onto a new note on my phone, and I titled it the apartment name, and then wrote down all the answers to the questions as I was asking the agent about the certain apartment. This really helps because a lot of the questions will have similar answers. For example, what's the maintenance like here? Will they clean the apartment before you move in? How do you apply? What documents you need, etc. But there are going to be some questions that have different answers. For example, how do you pay for rent? Who do you call for repairs? What's the area like? There's going to be a lot of different answers, and you need to make sure they write them all down. So I got you covered. I have the list of questions that I asked when I went on my tours. I will link them down below so that you can use them too when you go tour. And there's a lot, but don't be overwhelmed, because that's why you have someone else going with you to also help you ask the questions, because it gets overwhelming and we don't got that time to be worrying about all this stuff. So make sure you bring that third person. And my 4th and probably most important point when you go look at places, after you're done looking at places, make sure you take some time looking around the area, making sure that you like the area, making sure that you like the stores near you, you like the feel of it, see the people walking around. Like, just spend some time doing that. I wish I had done that before I moved. I never really got the chance of looking at the area that I was going to be applying to, and I wish I had. I'm happy with it overall, but it would have just been nicer knowing what I was getting myself into, if that makes sense. So just make sure you take some time to do that. When you go tour, you're just so focused on the place that you kind of forget the whole aspect of the surrounding outdoors. Okay, when you go see places, make sure you only schedule about 4, maybe 3 a day. And here's why. You get so tired after seeing places. The first time I went to go see places, I saw 7. This is 9. 7. I can't freaking count. And I was so tired after seeing the 4th one. My brain couldn't function anymore. I was just so focused on making sure I took pictures of everything, and I was asking all my questions, and it was just very chaotic. So I recommend making sure you only see 3 or 4. Bring your roommate with you if you have one. Bring your family, your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. And just make sure you have a chill time doing it. Especially if you live far, it's really not worth stressing yourself out just to go see all these places. Because trust me, I was dead after. And now moving on to virtual tours, because of course a lot of things are still remote. A lot of tours may not be happening in person right now. If you are unable to go into an in-person tour, obviously you're going to do a virtual tour, whether it's the landlord sending you a direct link of the place and showing you what it looks like in the 3D version, or having your real estate agent go to the place, take videos for you, or even do a FaceTime video call with you to show you what it looks like. Whichever one it is, before you do a virtual tour, there's a few questions that you should ask the landlord and your agent of what to expect. So if a place has a unit available and they have a virtual tour for it, make sure that the unit available is going to be either the exact same one as the virtual tour, or if there's something different about it, that they tell you. Because when places are listed online, even though there is a virtual tour for it, some places will have different units that aren't exactly like their virtual tour one, and they won't tell you that until you're on the virtual tour. And you want to make sure that you're happy with what you're seeing in the virtual tour and what you're getting. There's a big difference. And I say this because I saw this place online. I really liked it. Very pretty, very spacious. Maybe if I find pictures of it, I'll insert it. And I was actually going to go see it in person, but the agent was kind enough to send us a virtual tour link to it before going to see it in person. And thank goodness he did, because literally this place was nothing like the listing at all. It was so much smaller. The ceiling was falling off. There was rotting apples in the window. It was just nasty. It was like a dump, and I am so happy I actually didn't go see it in person because the website catfished us. So just be careful, okay? Pricing. So this all kind of depends on you. There's that rule that you are not supposed to spend more than a third of what you generate each month. Again, whatever your budget is, take your monthly income, divide it by 3, and that's your max amount that you should be spending on rent. However, take into account that if your rent only includes rent and no other utilities, your overall cost of living there is going to go up because your utility cost is going to go up. If your rent goes up a little bit, but there's more utilities included like heat, hot water, electricity, etc., I say it's best to take the higher rent if there's more utilities included, even if you do go over the 1/3 rule, because ultimately at the end it'll absorb more of your utility cost and your utility costs will go down. It's worth it in the end if your utilities can be decreased if they're included in your rent. That's all up to you, but the 1/3 rule is a pretty general rule to go by right now. Also keep in mind, the more utilities included right now the better, because a lot of us are at home. So, and my last tip, if you like the place, apply literally ASAP. Don't wait, don't overthink it, just apply. The worst they can say is no. You can decide your move-in date on the application when you apply, so it's pretty flexible. Obviously, talk to your agent, ask if you can negotiate the price a little bit lower. That's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to help you. They represent you, so have the agent work for you. A lot of places right now during COVID are actually being pretty flexible and not requiring deposits, so that's really nice. And sometimes the landlord will pay the broker fee, so that also saves you some cost. So wherever you can save yourself cost, do it. But overall, have fun looking at apartments, because you don't get to do this often unless you really like moving around, and that's up to you. But have fun. It can be a little bit stressful, but honestly, all of us go through it. It's just no one really tells us what to expect, so I'm telling you what to expect. Hopefully this helps you feel less stressed about finding your apartment. Everything's gonna be totally fine. If you have any specific questions about what else to expect, or if you want me to talk about something else that I didn't really touch on, comment down below. I'd love to help you out. Thanks so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!